Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled. This is Mila J. Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Yeah. Jones. Hey. Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.
All right, Las Vegas. Good afternoon. Greg Deville back in the studio once again. We're live on our location. That's right. We do this every Wednesday at high noon. Want to talk to you about wealth building strategies on our show every week. We want to talk about it. Today, I want to talk to you about the real estate industry as we see things are looking a bit different. In that it is a buyer's market, which means it's a great time. If you don't own a home, I could sell you a home with no money down, give you the opportunity to have the down payment covered, the closing costs covered, and your realtor gets a fat 3% check at the end of the deal. You know, there's free buyer representation for anyone using Deville Realty as far as it comes to buying, selling. We represent the buyers absolutely at no cost. If you need representation, I've been in the industry over 40 years in real estate. We want to make sure we're helping many of you get into home ownership. And now I'm meeting families at my different network events who feel like because they've owned a home in the past that they don't have a chance of owning another home. Let me dispel the myth. Many of you owned a home in the past and think, well, you can't get assistance and saving money is really a challenge for you right now. Let me let you know, if you have not and you currently do not own a home, your opportunity is available. And that's using the no money down program. I talk about no money all the time because these monies are allocated to help many of you. It's not predicated that you don't have money. It's predicated on you qualifying with the FICO score and minimal 2 years on the job. Many of you have had 10 years, 12 years on the job, but you have the ability to get a home with this program that has funds allocated for you. Now, I want you to keep the money because when you get the home, there may be some improvements or updating you want to do. If that's the case, it's available with your own money using the no money down program. So, of course, you can qualify with a mere 620, 640 FICO score to get into home ownership. Now, I use the fact that these funds are available because with this administration, they've been doing cuts across the board. Now, I want to make sure you all get your name on the list, because if you get qualified, those monies, let's say you need 25,000, that money's on hold for you. But if the money gets looked at and they decide to relocate those funds, you missed the ship, you missed the boat. And so I want to get you in. Greg Deville, 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, 702-349-0162. This is what we do. We talk real estate each and every week, Wednesday, high noon, about building wealth. I am the wealth builder. This is what I enjoy. Many of you have the opportunity to build wealth through real estate. There's a lot of different avenues, right? You got real estate, insurance. Somebody's doing, day trading. But we want to bring the awareness to real estate, because by far, that is very much what you do every day is you go home to some real estate. Your pillow lies in real estate. But my question would be, do you own the real estate of which where your head lies, where you sleep at night? Do you own that, or are you paying someone else's mortgage? If you're paying someone else's mortgage, then you're not doing yourself a favor. You're helping that family or the owner of that property pay off the mortgage. I want to put you in a position with absolutely no money out of pocket. Now, let's say your credit score isn't as well as it needs to be to qualify. Then you have a 401k on your job. Now, if that be the case, you only need a mere 580 credit score, which means you paid some of your bills. Now, with the 580, the 401k, you could still get into a home. Now, I've taken the liberty to look up real estate in the Northwest Centennial area. Under $450,000 right now, under $450,000, there are 270 homes available. Under $450,000. I go with that number because, yes, the interest rate's a little bit higher, but out of 270 homes, can you not find one home to make your home for at least 3 to 4 to 5 years, right? While the market does what we like to term a turnaround, where things start increasing, values start increasing, and you grow equity because you're building equity right now. You're creating wealth through equity right now. When you pay rent, you're doing it for someone else. So if I'm telling you, I'm getting you a home through your 401k, no money out of pocket, then we got a grant program that'll help you get funding through the grant program. So listen, there's opportunities available for you. We merely need you to make a contact to Deville Realty. I've been in the industry for over 40 years. I've been licensed here in Nevada for the past 20 years. I've been a broker for the past going on 10 years as a broker. Now, we want to make sure that we're helping many as we can. Now, let's say you're in position now, you own a home, things are going well for you. How about if you help your brother? Because we are our brother's keeper. So how about you give this information to Ray and Pookie and them? You know they've been on the job for a while. They're doing okay. Some things have changed. They actually, paying bills. The fact that they still live in that rental and they ain't got evicted, that means they're paying their bills. So let's talk about helping my brother or my sister. Your sister has been living in an apartment, got a good job. Listen, they have the opportunities possibly to purchase a home. We want to help families, as I stated, in the Centennial Hills area, just alone, Centennial Hills, 270 homes. Now, there are 76 townhomes and there are 81 condos. Now, let's say, remember, under 450,000, 270 in total, under 450. When we talk about the North Las Vegas area, homes under 450, there's over 200 plus properties available. So we want to help you get into home ownership and watch your equity grow. Now, it may take a little time, but it doesn't matter. You're going to live somewhere. It may take a little time. You're going to pay more. You're going to pay rent somewhere. So why not make the mortgage payment? Because again, as I've always stated, you're making a mortgage payment. You're just doing it to someone else's mortgage versus me giving you the money. Because I know that's one of our biggest factors, right? Is having enough money for the down payment. That becomes one of the big issues when it comes to getting into home ownership. Is the money down? I found a way to answer that call, to answer that dilemma, to answer that problem, and that's by getting the grant programs that are available. As I mentioned, this administration is doing real crazy things, taking monies from these programs and putting over there and relocating or reallocating funds to other departments. So while these funds are available, I plead, I adjure you, let's get together. Let's get your name on the list or someone that you know. Get their name on the list so that their name can reserve that amount of funds that are required. Now, that's 3.5% of whatever you qualify for. So let's use the number for the sake of numbers. Let's say 300,000. Well, that's 10,500. 400,000. Well, you're talking nearly 13,000 now, right? We're going to give you that down payment up to $25,000. Now, 500,000 at 3.5 is close to 17, 18,000, right? We're going to give you those funds. Those funds are allocated for the first-time buyer, but don't be dismayed, my friend. Maybe you owned a home before, but guess what? You have not, and you currently do not, and it's been longer than 3 years. Now, how do you determine if it's longer than 3 years? How long you been paying rent and where you're staying? Over 3 years? Somebody said, I've been here 5. Guess what? You qualify. Ding, 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 ding. So you're the one who we're talking to today when it comes to, like I said, under 450,000, 270 homes are available. So what are you waiting for to get in? What are you waiting for to take the opportunity to contact me? 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. This is what I do every week for the last 9 years, a couple different stations around town, helping families start creating generational wealth through real estate. That's why we call the wealth builder, showing you and giving you a plan, how to devise a plan, because you're paying into it right now. It's like renting a car. You never own it. That's what renting a home does. You'll never own it. And God forbid the seller decides to sell. Guess what's going to happen? Now you got to relocate. And you've been there so long, you got stuff everywhere. So moving hasn't even crossed your mind. But if the landlord decides to sell because now he wants to cash out, why? Because you paid down the principal. He has more equity in the house. And what is that going to do for him? Cash out, baby. Ching, ching. So while he's cashing out, you got to move out and you got to find somewhere to live. And the rent's going to almost double, if not close to double, of what you've been paying over the last 5 years. And sometimes landlords saying, yeah, I'm selling the house, and they want to get you out because they're saying they're selling the house. Well, the end of the day is the only way to get you out is to say he wants to sell because you're paying below average market rate on the rent right now. You've been there 5 years. You're only paying $1,800. Well, he can get $2,400 now. He can't go up 24. So he says, well, let me move her out, go in and do some updating and some repairs, and I can get max rent for this house, which again is going to pay off the mortgage and give him a little cash overflow, residual income in his pocket. So what are you saying, Deville? At the end of the day, let's get your own property where you guys do not have to consider having to move because some landlord decides there's a change in his life. He can't increase your rent, but by so much because you're going to move anyway, right? Now, if that is the case, let's get a head start on getting ourselves prepared, on getting in position so that even if you contact me now and let's get you set up with a lender, and the lender says, well, maybe you're not ready right now, but here's a strategy. Here's a game plan of what we can do to get you in position so that in the next couple months, the next 6 months, whatever it might deem, you'll be available and accessible to getting a loan. Because as you know, Getting a loan is going to be the first thing. You want to get that pre-approval, not just going online, getting a conditional pre-approval. No, we're not talking about a conditional. We want a pre-approval. That means the lender reviewed your documents, because the worst thing you want to run into is some lender, online you've gone through online and you've done some stuff and you've input information. And it's, based on the information you've updated, we can give you a conditional approval letter. Conditional. Well, let's take the word conditional out. Let's go with pre-approval. So the pre-approval means that your documents have been verified. Because you can say, like one lady said, she was getting, I think, $800 a month on child support. Well, but the court said she was supposed to for the child. But was she actually getting it? No, because when it came time to pull those documents and give those to the lender, she could not present those documents that he was in the bank statement depositing the $800, although she was supposed to be getting it. So what does that do? Those documents now kick your loan approval down. So that's why we want to validate all documents and everything that you've included on your loan, going online, completing the loan documents. We want to validate all that information by looking at they're going to look at your bank statements. They're going to look at your tax returns. So these things are what they use to validate your income. Now, once your income has been validated, this is what you make. Here's what your returns look like. Now, those of you that are investors or entrepreneurs rather, and you're self-employed, so your bank statement becomes your income verification, right? Your proof of funds, okay, showing your deposits. Now, remember, your deposits show your income. So if you make, let's say you're a nail tech and you made $250 a day, I need you to deposit every day. Make that deposit. Now, I know you need to pay a bill, but I need you to deposit those funds first so that when the bank requests bank deposit, as far as pre-approval is concerned, you'll be able to show them, hey, I deposit twice a week. And I'm showing $250 here and $300 over there. So you're doing, let's say, $500 a week. Okay, whatever that might be. You need to make the deposit because they're going to ask for the deposit bank statements. Show the deposit. Then once you deposit it, you can withdraw it within a few moments, because I know you need to pay a bill, but you also need to show proof of income. All right. 702-349-0162. 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. Now, we talked about this being a buyer's market. Now, there's favor right now with this market. Sellers are hungry for an offer. That means they're willing to pay 3% commissions now. They're willing to pay 3% in closing costs, and they're willing to take an offer that's reasonable. Now, if you know you need 3% closing costs, you want to get all the closing costs you can. Maybe you don't want to, I hear you calling. I'll call you in just a moment. Maybe you want to, get that closing cost covered. Well, don't reduce the price of the house, because now you're taking more money from the profit of the sale, which means now the seller comes up less. He's willing to give you 3% for your closing costs. He's willing to give 3% to the agent who's bringing the buyer. But now when you reduce the price of the house, that means his less profit on his number, because many of these sellers do have a mortgage. So they're trying to get the mortgage paid and walk away with something, right? So that's where the real estate is. So let's try to be reasonable if we're going to ask for all the closing costs. How about that? 702-349-0162, Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. So right now, foreclosures have been on the rise. We're seeing 45 to 60 foreclosure filings per week. Recently, we had on the show Miss Debbie Conway, who is the county recorder, and they were mentioning to us that they're seeing an influx of foreclosure filings. Now, what does that mean? That means that people have gone as far as they can with the mortgage. If you're one of the ones, let's consider selling that home. You've gone as far as you can. You can't get out of it. Now the bank is hounding you. Let me say, when you're 3 to 4 months in, they will start considering, especially if they're not hearing from you. And I know you've been talking to the bank, But the foreclosure department is not part of your bank. They are not together in this deal. The foreclosure department may be in Wyoming somewhere. The bank you may be talking to is in Utah, just for example. They're not in communication. So although you're talking to, your bank about the mortgage, who you pay and most of these are service companies, right? They service the loans. You're talking to the servicer, but the bank, or the foreclosure rather, is somewhere else. There, after 120 days, the proceedings move forward. Sometimes it may take 6 months, depending. Like right now, because of the high volume of foreclosure, it may be taking them 5 or 6 months. But when you stop reading that mail, you're not knowing what the foreclosure department is about to do. Although you've been speaking with your bank, they don't even know what the foreclosures are doing. They don't have a clue, right? They just know you're behind. They may be trying to modify with you. But until that foreclosure department hears from you. Now, if they don't hear from you, they're sending letters. Sometimes it doesn't have a return address. Open all letters. I know you don't want to hear it. You already know you're behind. You don't need no more bad news, but I need you to know this news. This news is there may be a sale date on your house, and the next knock on your door might be from the new buyer who bought it at the auction. So if you're not reading the mail, the correspondence from the bank, or the foreclosure rather, letting you know that we have a sale date on your property. Your property is going up for whatever that loan amount is. If you owe $350, well, that's where the bidding is going to start for the investors. Now, your home may be worth $450, $550, and you only owe $350. Well, that equity is yours. So if you don't decide to contact Greg Deville and say, hey, Deville, I want to get my equity out. Let's sell the house because I can't catch up on the payments. And a lot of times they're only $12,000, $18,000, $20,000. I've got homes right now for sale. They're not far behind. They're a couple months, $9,000, $10,000. But because you can't get 9 or 10 to catch up the payments, the bank now wants the payment in full of the $350,000 or the $280,000, whatever it is you owe. After you've gotten so far behind, the bank no longer wants to take payments. In fact, I had a lady recently contact me, and we've got her home up for sale, where the bank said she sent a partial payment. Guess what happened? The bank decided we don't want it. They sent her that payment back. We want the full delinquent payment. You 3 months, we want 3 months time. Let's say it's 900. They want the whole 27. They don't want 1,000. They don't want 17. They sent her the money back. What does that mean? That means the bank said, look, either give us all our money that you're in the rears on, or we want all our money. So if you only owe 200, 350, 280, whatever, the bank says, no, we don't want half payment. You can't catch up. We want the whole thing now. So what does that mean to you? That means you need to sell that property before the bank decides putting it on the auction block to the highest bidder. At the end of the day, you still, if they don't get the price, you still may be in line for whatever balance due. They could still come. Let's say, for they repossess a car and they sell it. You owe $9,000 on the car, but they only sold it for $7,000. Well, you still owe that $3,000 or that $2,500. So they'll come after you for the difference. Well, very much so with the mortgage. If it doesn't sell for what they owe or you owe them, they could very well come after you for the difference. So why not sell the home, save the equity, pay the bank back, pay any fees that you may have. There's no upfront costs. Pay those fees back through the sale. Now, Greg Deville can help. I can help you do that. Deville Realty, our team, shout out to Team Deville. We help families get out of trouble, out of mortgage trouble. And a lot of time, the only avenue is, because you've borrowed everything you can. A lot of you have, I found a couple had $280,000 equity. And because their credit score was below the 680 mark, they could not get a home equity line of credit. If they could have caught the home up, got out of default, and kept the ball rolling. But because you missed a mortgage payment, you got 130-day late. In many cases, no one's going to loan you any of that home equity line money that you have available to give you that HELOC. So what's your other alternative? In many cases, it's the sale. And maybe you can't sell it at height of the market because time is of the essence. So what does that mean to you? Price it below market so that you can hurry up and get an offer, and you can hurry up and get it done, and you can hurry up and get your equity back in your pocket. You're going to have to move anyway. If you can't pay that, listen, you're going to have to move. So why keep holding on, holding out? Every month you don't pay. Every month you get farther behind, and the late fees is more money you lose out of the equity of the profit from the sale. So how long do we wait before deciding, hey, I'm going to call Greg Deville? Let's just get her done, man. How much, what do we need to list it at to make it happen? I'm going to do a CMA, comparative market analysis, look at what the most recent sales in your area, your home, apples to apples, comparing peaches to plum to peaches, right? So we say the last 5-bedroom home in your area sold for $489. Well, we're going to try to sell it for $450, right? Because we need to hurry up and sell. Now, making this a rapid sale helps get it done, save money, because you're trying to get that $50,000 difference. You may be out there for 4 months. That you're already 4 months behind. Now you're 4 more months behind. Well, that foreclosure very well may happen. So we got to hurry up, hurry up and get her done. That's right. Hurry up and get her done. So that way, get your money. Get what you can before the bank decides to put it on the auction block. But please, ma'am, brother, sir, listen, read your mail, because in that letter, it may already have a sale date, meaning it may be 30 to 45 days out. And if we put it on the market, it may take 30 days to sell it. So you're pressing the gun, you're pressing the matter, meaning you're close to losing it in trying to save your equity. Because as I mentioned before, if the bank forecloses, that equity is done. They're going to get whatever they can. If you only owe $290,000, $300,000, that's all they want. They just want their money back because they have to pay back the investor. Now, if it comes up, they sell it. Let's say you owe $3 and they sell it for $305. That $5,000 is going to junk fees. You lose any money you may have. I don't care if you got 60, 80, 120,000. It's your equity. So contact me. Let me help you get it done. And I've been in the game a long time. Listen, I'm over 20 years in Vegas in real estate sales. I buy and flip homes. Some of you, there's some improvements you need to have done. I have a handyman business. I've been a handyman for 45 years. So I buy and flip homes. So let's say you need some home improvement before you can sell. Your boy, get that done. I'm doing one now. I'm selling a condo. There was some mold in the laundry area. So with the mold, guess who's remediating the mold? Your nephew. We're getting it done because I want to help you get it sold. Now, of course, you're going to pay me different because that's a different part. No matter who gets it done, you got to pay outside. Now, sometimes we could put it in the sale, but you've got to really be on board with the pricing. You can't wait. You got to hurry up. I mean, within a week, if we don't get an offer, we need to reduce the price because you've got to move this property. You've got to get her done. Otherwise, the problem becomes you're stale on the market. And then if you become stale on the market, people are going to stop looking and you're going to get an offer here. I mean, a visit here, a visit there. Well, no, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get it done. Get it in escrow. Guess what? Get it sold. Get your 60, 200,000 equity, whatever that might be. Take it, run to the hills. Now, say you get over 100,000, right? I need you to look in 1 year. You're going to rent for 1 year. Then you're going to come back and buy. Okay? 1 year. Do yourself a favor. This is not the end of the road. It's just a stop sign where you got to pause and look both ways. You'll be back in the game after a while. 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Team Deville, Deville Realty Group. The name you need to know right here in the Valley. Now, as I was mentioning to you, foreclosures are on the rise due to, loss of income, divorce, deceased spouse, whatever the problem may be. There are reasons behind people getting behind in their mortgage. If you're the one or you know someone, I'm a master at getting this done. Getting the last lady I got recently, $142,000. So I want to help many of you continue. There was a few people, they got 60, 80, but the big ticket was the lady who got the 280, the husband and wife divorced. And then this last one was the big number ones was 142. Now, all the other ones, $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, but it's still your money. It doesn't matter. If you lose the house, you don't even get $50,000, $60,000, right? They're not giving you anything. They're just taking possession because you signed the document. Now, to those of you who are thinking banks want to take your house, let me dispel the myth. Banks don't want your house. They want the interest on the mortgage payment. They don't want the house. Banks said, we're not into it for real estate, Deville. We don't want, tell your listeners, we don't want the house. We want the interest on the money because we give an interest to the investor who put the money in our bank. Many times they're giving them, maybe let's say they're giving 150%, 1.5%. And they're giving you that money for 6.5%. Banks making a good 4%, right? Somewhere around those numbers. Well, they're making it off the investor. So if you don't make the payment, they've got to pay it to the investor. End of the day, banks don't want your house. So please, when you talk to your family member and they mention to you, yeah, man, I'm getting an attorney to fight. Listen, if you behind, stop paying an attorney. The attorneys cannot stop a foreclosure. They can prolong it, which means you're losing more money and retainer fee to an attorney. Listen, you're not going to win that battle. You signed at the table when you went to escrow a promissory note to pay the mortgage. And you signed that if you got 4 to 5 months behind, they have a legal right to foreclose. You signed it. The attorneys, they just take retainers. One lady called me, said, yeah, I got an attorney and we fighting on this because, lady, you just got behind. The bottom line is, and then they call me after court, say, you know what, Mr. Deville, you were right. The attorney didn't even show up to court. I said, well, I warned you. What are they going to show up for? It clearly states you signed a promissory note. It's like a car. You go buy a new car. Trust me, 90 days default, you're going to hear a beep, beep, beep in the front with some chains. And they taking that car away. Why? Because you couldn't make the payments. It's real. Many of you cut family off because they owed you $50. You stop talking because they ain't paid you $50. And you get mad when the mortgage man said, look, you got to pay to play, right? That's the reality. I know it's hard. It's truth, though. It's still truth, right? Right? Love me or hate me, you got to accept the truth is the truth. 702-349-0162, Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. This is what I do, you guys. I talk wealth and real estate. Want to help so many of you. If you got family, friends, just give my phone number. Just tell them, look, the guy gave his number on the radio. Here's the number. You ready? 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. This is what I do, you guys. This is what I've been doing for the last 40 years, buying and flipping homes, selling real estate here in Vegas for the last 20 years. When I got in real estate in Vegas, man, the market crashed. Boom. But guess what? Through God's grace, we're still here. Have we had our struggles? Absolutely. But that's all right. We're yet still here. And we want to continue to help. And I think that's one of the reasons we are still here is because we want to help so many of you. And sometimes I meet people who lose their home, and I only said, man, I wish they would have called me. Because although we can't save the home, we can save the equity. We could save the money that's going to be lost from a foreclosure sale. I don't care if it's $20,000, it's yours. Once all the fees are paid, it's yours. And the advantage of selling a home pre-foreclosure is that it doesn't go on your record as a foreclosure. Sure, you're going to face the dilemma of the delinquent payments, right? It's going to still, but then a year from now, those things will push away. You'll pay off some bills with some money you receive from escrow. And guess what? In a year, you'll qualify with the money you save from the sale of the house. Save $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 and put that down. A lender will give you a chance. You come in with $50,000, $60,000. A lender will look at you. That's 20% down possibly. Guess what? You at least own a home. And now guess what you've learned? You've learned the value of owning a home and how it creates equity for you. Because if anything at all, you get a chance to get some money that you've paid over time versus paying a landlord, and you get nothing but that little security deposit, whether it was $2,500 or $3,000, right? That's all you receive. So follow Team Deville. What we do is help you get into real estate with literally no cost. I mean, you put $1,000 in earnest money. In many cases, you end up getting that back. Now, you will have to pay for an appraisal, right? And a home inspection. But then we're going to get you a warranty. You'll have a warranty. Who do you think the landlord is calling when you call him that something happened or something's gone wrong? He's calling the home warranty. So I'm going to make sure that you get a home warranty so that you'll have someone to help you in the time of running into an issue with the property. So do away with all the excuses. Do yourself a favor. Get some equity. Create generational. And then guess what? You'll have something to leave to your children, your heir, right? Because the wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I read that somewhere in the Bible. That's real. Now, at the end of the day, this is what I want to do to help. As I mentioned, there are under 450,000. There are 270 homes between North Las Vegas and Centennial Hills. There's over 270 homes, 76 townhomes, and 81 condos available for sale. Under 450. Now, that means you don't have to spend $450. I just want to get you into a home. Not worried about price. I'm worried about getting families to creating generational wealth. Sometimes you have to start small, and that's okay. That's okay. I specialize helping families get their first home. That does me a great pleasure, getting families their first home. And then 7-8 years down the road, we still here. Deville's still here. Guess what? We're going to get you a larger home. We had a family, been hearing me on radio for years, decided their family was growing. They needed more space. Guess how they got a big 5-bedroom home, fireplace in the primary bedroom, and a balcony and a swimming pool. And the pool, you can literally dive, you can slide from the balcony into the pool. And they did it with the equity in their other home. Now, if you're only paying rent, you don't get that equity. But in the mortgage, they took $85,000. They only needed $60,000 to put on the equity. They bought a $600,000, got a 10% loan, put $60,000 down from the equity in their home. So if you don't create wealth through equity, then you can't purchase your next home. The landlord's doing it because you're helping him get the wealth. So he goes out and buy him a luxury vehicle on your dime. And they never even give you a Thanksgiving turkey coupon. Right? Never. So no money down up to $25,000, closing costs up to 3%. These are some of the things that are available. I wanted to make mention of. So you could sell your home, sell your equity, save your equity, right? We're letting Deville Realty help you out. So Greg Deville, the Wealth Builder, this is what I do. Show you ways of wealth building strategies. Now, again, if you're not owning that space where you lie your head every night, then let's help you do it. Veterans, I want to talk to you for a moment. We appreciate you, veterans. Now, remember, if you have used your VA certificate in the past and you currently are renting, there's a strong possibility you can reinstate that DD 214. If you're a spouse of a deceased veteran and you were married at the time of their death, then in many cases, we can see you get that DD 214 reinstated. I've got 2 families that are working on, getting the verifications that they need to get reinstated using their husband's DD 214. He served in the military, and they're renting right now. But we've sold homes to wives whose husband may have expired, and you still have access to receiving their funds and getting their approved VA loan back. All right. So thank you for all the contacts on today. Love to hear from you more. Today here in Vegas, we're partly cloudy in the high mid 90s, 15% precipitation here in the valley. So we had a little rain this morning, but it's beautiful, man. The weather has been nice. We're coming down off the 100s and 10s and 15s. We're coming down a little bit. But look, it's a wonderful time, you guys, whether buying, selling, or investing. Now, many of you love your home. Things are going well, but you need a little offset. You need a little, residual income. You can do that by simply doing a home equity line of credit off your property. Now, if we take that property, we do a home equity line of credit. Let's say you take $85,000 and put it on a purchase of a fourplex or duplex. Now guess what? The fourplex will pay for itself. Now you're creating two equities, the fourplex and your personal home. So there's just a lot of ways to build wealth. So we want to help you do that. Is that all right? 702-349-0162. Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. So, excuse me, no money down programs. Let's stop the foreclosures. These are some things I want to just recap before I close out. There are 270 homes available in the Northwest Valley. That's Centennial Hills Valley, North Las Vegas Valley. Over 270 homes available, under 450,000. So if you're thinking about buying, we have in the Summerlin area, there's just about 120 homes in the Summerlin area, under 500,000. So we want to appreciate the many of you that's been calling us on today. We're going to get back with you and talk more about how to get you into real estate or sell that home. Now, let's talk for a moment about probates, because we're dealing with some probate matters where family members have expired. Recently, we got one where the mom expired, and certainly our condolences are out to the family. We can help get you an attorney to help you expedite getting that property sold. Now, what we try to say is, if you know a family member that you say your mom or your dad can put you on the title. If they could put you on title, it's called a quit claim deed, and deed you on the title, a lot of this stuff will be able to work out much easier. But what we really want to see is many of you start working on your living trust. Because if you do a living trust, you can avoid probate. You can avoid a lot of the court costs. So many people, you've heard of a will. Well, we're not pushing a will. We're pushing, just like you filled out for a will, it's the same thing for the living trust. It's just another extension to the will. It's still going to be your will, but the living trust does away with court costs and attorneys, and it does away with the judges making a decision on how your stuff is going to be, given out. You make that decision. You could either do a revocable or irrevocable trust, put everything in the trust. Guess what happens? At the time of your demise, the trust is either read at the title company or through an attorney, however you choose to do it. There's a place, legal forms document here. You can go buy the package. In fact, I have a package sitting here. We did our living trust, and this package sitting here is called the Living Will, Easy, Inexpensive, Revocable Living Trust. Okay, the Revocable Living Trust. So many of you go out and get this package, and you could do it at home. Just fill it out. You'll have to get a witness, and you'll have to notarize it. Once you do all of that, what you want to do is go down and record it with the county recorder. So now it becomes an official document recorded. Put all your assets in the living trust. Decide how you want, at the time of your demise, how you want your goods to be taken care of. And then there's another one called mortgage insurance. Now, with mortgage insurance means that at the time of your demise, your mortgage is paid off. Now, that's the one I'm working on now. When my dad, when I was 18 years old, passed away, he had mortgage insurance, which means at 18, I've owned a home at 18 years old through having mortgage insurance from my dad, which then paid off the home when he passed away. So that's another something you want to do. Don't forget the pre-needs services. Many of the mortuaries have. So somebody doesn't have, those kind of services. There's so many things that we weren't aware of that on the Greg Deville Show, we want to make aware. But really, that living trust, very, very important. If you own property, you need to have a living trust. Okay? Never mind the will. The will it's still going to end up going to court. And the judge got to make a decision. And then you have to have somebody who is the person or the executor of the estate. There's a lot going into this. And families always tend to have issues with, well, why she got to be there or he got it. If you do a living trust, tell your parents, talk to them. Say, have you done a living trust? All the family come together and let the parent decide how they want to disseminate their goods, their items that they own, right? Who is it going to? How are you setting it up? That's totally a family decision, but I'm just putting it out there. But again, before I close out, homes are on the rise. It's a buyer's market. Let's get pre-approved. Contact me for more information. Thanks to all of you who have referred Greg Deville and Team Deville to so many of your families. I've been here almost 10 years as a broker, but 20 years as a realtor. And so many of you have helped me build my business to where we are today. And I'm grateful for you and you too for helping out to continue grow wealth in our community. Black real estate wealth is very, very important that we own. You know, the old saying is God bless a child who has his own. And that's real talk, because at the end of the day, you'll get equity and you'll have something to leave as an inheritance, as a legacy. All right. So look, I certainly appreciate all of you. I'm out of time, certainly not out of information. If you need to reach out to me, feel free, contact me direct, 702-349-0162, or you can email me at DevilleRealtyLV@gmail.com. Go to all my social media platforms at Greg Deville, YouTube, Greg Deville. I'd love to hear from you, speak with you about options that are available, whether buying, selling, or investing. If you need to sell the home pre-foreclosure, please read your mail. Open those letters, because there may be a sale date on your property. And if they sell it, there's nothing you can do but move out, and your equity is gone. So call me. I can sell your home, save your equity. So until next week, Thursday or Wednesday at 12 noon, I'll talk to you around that time, but I'll look to hear from you in between time. Is that all right? Until then, may God's best be yours. Take care.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in.